Good morning, everyone. Glad that you're joining us today. Today we're going to look really quick at what we call systems of equations. A system of equations is when you're trying to solve two or more equations at the same time. Here's an example down here. Notice I have two variable equations. There are multiple methods for solving this, but today we're only going to look at solving by graphing. So we're going to solve this system, and I'm going to use Desmos for that. So I'm going to click open up a tab. I'm going to go to our North Carolina version of Desmos. And maybe not the fastest way of getting there, but then I'm going to type in those equations. So I've got the North Carolina test version of Desmos because that's the one that we're used to seeing. So I'm going to type in my two equations here. I've got y equals negative 3x plus 2. And you can see that it's drawn the graph of y equals negative 3x plus 2. Press enter. Now I'll go for another equation, y equals 2x minus 3. And notice when it does that, if I look over here on my graph, it's giving me several points that are very interesting to me, okay? If I click on the red one, it's going to give me all of the points that are interesting and where they cross the line. But I don't really care for any of those points. What I really want to do is I want the point where they cross together. And that point is the point of intersection. 1, negative 1 is the answer to this question. Let's try another. So now I'm going to try another one. Notice a new system showing up here. What I might ought to do is just remind myself how to type in those fractions. You just use your decimal key, or excuse me, your division key. So if it was 5 halves, I'll just type in 5 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2 gives me that 5 halves. I've got these turned off, but if I turn this one on right here, you can see here all of the points that represent 5 halves x minus 4. And these are all of the points in blue that represent negative x plus 3. So when I find out where they are together, it's that point that they cross 2, 1. Now, for your work, I'd like for you just to show a really quick, easy sketch of this. It doesn't have to be this beautiful Desmos graph, just a quick, easy sketch. It'll look like this. Okay, so on my paper, I would just write down my system of equations, and you can see over here what it would look like on Desmos. So again, I click on that, and I would just make a super easy sketch of that. So here's my my x and y axis, and I would draw my first line, the blue line, and then the red line coming up, and try to accurately, but not too crazy detailed, give me the point of intersection. I don't need to have a scale. You guys will be just fine like this. You don't need to do it on graph paper.